Hello and welcome to another episode of FinTech Focus TV with me, Toby. Today I am absolutely delighted to have a really exciting story we're going to tell you with Ross from DCM. Ross, how are you?
All good, thank you.
Great to have you in. Really excited about this episode. We've been hearing a little bit beforehand off camera. You've been on a journey. It sounds like a really exciting part of it. Big plans we've been talking about, and lots of in an area, in a sector which is set to explode and continues to evolve and grow at pace I don't think we've ever seen in the financial services market. So we've got lots of interesting areas and insight to get into, but I always ask people to kick off with telling us a little bit about yourself. So Ross, give us your story. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Yeah, so my story is really fascinating. I think I have quite unique things to tell people about what I did, but I'll try to be short. So I started from the banking, so I was kind of really curious about how banks work, how banking works, and so on. And I felt myself really, back in the days, so literally in uni, felt myself really interested in shaping this environment, because I've seen that money flows can be even better serving people than it happened 15 or 17 years ago. So anyway, started my career from banking and digitalized few of banks in Eastern Europe, and I was literally the first person who launched the digital loans and some new credit cards, mechanics, and so on and so forth. So that was quite a journey. But banks, they are quite boring things for young and ambitious
those
individual.
Know.
Yeah, and you can do certain things there. You must go with politics and go with these all the decision makings, that discussions for tiny questions that just get to be done in one moment. That's not something bad, but that's how the banking is works.
I guess it's kind of necessary, isn't it? Because necessary
to make our money safe, to be honest. But
it can squeeze innovation, can't it?
Yeah, but today's banks, they started to think about how to separate all this stuff. And what I've seen and what I did a few years ago, it's separation of banks to literally just boring banking with proper politics and proper discussions for hours about any tiny questions that they would like, and separate divisions to speed up things. Literally, banking, the banks, they are setting up pocket fintech companies nearby to squeeze the innovations and to just do not lose all boring stuff that will become boring in a few years. But right now it's innovational. So starting from banks, and then decided, okay, I want to do something really interesting and really challenging, which banks are afraid of till they are shaping with everything till the end of their hair. So I moved to startups, obviously, and fintech, and been leading few platforms like Internet of Investment platform and platform for digitalization of banking, and then hopped back to the bank to digitalize the internet banking in one of top 5 banks. Okay. And then purely decided to go really deep into innovations, and it was blockchain and crypto. Back in the days, I was okay, Ross, what are you doing? I got the offer from Wirex, and I was looking on the chart. Before the offer, the Bitcoin was 2,000 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And after the offer, after a week, I was looking on the chart of Bitcoin, and it was 300. Ross, you're going to go to the company, do that. Whole business is bounded on the asset, not an asset, but something. No one knew back in the days in 2017, end of 2016. what's that? It's kind of growth, ups and downs, and you want to sacrifice your career of kind of banking and so on and startups to these things that just dropped enormously. Why not? That's kind of no-brainer, no-brainer answer. Yeah.
Run towards the volatility.
Yeah, run.
And this is as well when Wirex was just a handful of people as well, right?
Yeah. And I started like literally with 10 people, and we built the platform, we built the whole kind of product from scratch, and that's where my journey started on blockchain and fintech, because I was not always like deep into cryptogenic all this way that you hear here and there. Hey, banks are banned, crypto forever, la la la, and so on and so forth. Not at all. That's Wirex was, and I was more about bonding together this traditional world and digital world in a really good and legit way. And with Wirex, we moved through that, and I was kind of on the leading side of it on how to bring all these licensing and to be compliant with everything that regulators performed, because they were like inventing as well all these new regulations to keep the industry grow, but still keep the people safe. Because I remember all these kind of ups and downs with shit ICOs where people did a ton of money and lost even more money. Yeah. And then like all these summers with kind of DeFi
that was sort of very on trend about that sort of time as well. Wasn't it?
Yeah. That's one my black side of my career, of my personality. Like all these degenic moves with cryptocurrency. But the white side is that deals with Visa and MasterCard that allowed us at Wirex, when I was there, to issue one of the first cards that you can kind of use everywhere, and that you literally can't spend any money that you have at Wirex, in the Wirex application. And that's enormous and innovative technology that we've built, and I've been there through the more than 6 years, growing the team from 10, like a handful of people, to the more than 500 people.
Yeah, it's an amazing journey.
And that was amazing.
Particularly the time as well.
Yeah.
When it was, there was a fair few challenges being thrown out of that.
Fair few challenges, like, and that was literally the same as I just said at the beginning of my career. Like, so we had the very first kind of super hype on the market was like when the Bitcoin was 20K.
Yeah.
And then it dropped to the 3K.
Yeah.
And then it kind of grown to the 60K. Yeah. And all these ups and downs, together with regulation, together with kind of new challenges, it's like a dog years.
Exactly.
You have 1 year in this fintech and innovation environment, because I'm considering crypto as a fintech and blockchain as a fintech, because it's always been bounded for me with traditional money and traditional accounts, and on the other side, you're trying to balance that with innovations. So you continuously inventing new things, and together with you, regulators, banks, everyone inventing, and you riding on the train while building the rails in front of you. Trying to do not kind of go down from the...
It makes it exciting. When you get that right, it's a very exciting sort of journey to be in. Yeah. So you were there as the CTO in that role?
Yeah, I was there as CTO, and literally like beyond the CTO, because CTO is... there is a stereotype, not stereotype, but kind of there is a standard CTO which looks after the technology. I was looking after the whole division of technology and the business around that, around the technology. So,
and particularly in a super fast growth sort of area. So I guess it's kind of like a CTO and CPO based sort of role
like
at the same time.
Managing director or something like that. Okay. So like a lot of things under my kind of supervision. Yeah.
And talk to me about the sort of decision then to break out and start DCM. What sort of drove that? What was the thought process?
Yeah, so the decision being pretty much natural. So a lot of things happened at 2022, especially the war Russia started against Ukraine, and a lot of challenges so we moved through the COVID and moved successfully, and with this new challenge.
And you were over here or in the Ukraine at that sort of stage?
Right now I live in the UK. In the UK, and I moved to the UK with in the end of all these kind of challenges. I moved to the UK, but had to reshape the team, had to kind of settle down with all damages that Russia caused to the kind of some of people that lived in Ukraine, and we had some people in Ukraine as well. And for me, it was kind of the decision to go forward with something else, because when you more than 6 years in one company, and when you have such a kind of bold changes in your life, you have an opportunity to change something. And that's why I started to go beyond what I was doing, and it was always about speaking with your community. I had a lot of connections, and given that Wirex is a UK company and I had a lot of things in the UK anyway, so speaking with people around and trying to find myself in the best opportunity that I could not to have, but that I could bring something more, because I see myself as a person who is bringing incredible results to anything that I do, and I've got an opportunity to work with brilliant people for several startups, and end up with leading DCM as a CEO, and I'm doing that from the October last year.
Okay.
And
so talk to me about the difference. So this has obviously been something there which is, you've started, I presume, along with others. Was it others there? Is it funded? Is it backed? Is it self-funded?
The company was kind of up and running for quite a while. And they were in progress of rolling out of the product, and my experience obviously is about scaling. It's about bringing more opportunities to the table, with more money to the table, and so on. And given what I know and what I can bring, that was a no-brainer for company as well to.
And what about you? What made you decide, right, that's the right thing for me?
That's
because you wouldn't have been short of opportunities, I'd imagine.
And that's quite a good question to think about, and that's always a mix of your gut feeling and a mix of what you see as an opportunities forward with these companies, because my gut feeling said, okay, I've had a lot of kind of different angles of what I did, and I want to create kind of some new changing thing, new changing product, challenger product that will be more than just kind of another application somewhere or something like that. Something really infrastructural, but it's heavy. It's kind of it's really a challenge to move forward with such things, but something that will shape and increase the value for the basic kind of basic way how we're using money. And
there's loads of opportunity to do that at the moment.
And that's where DCM came up with exactly the case of shaping the way how banks and other companies, literally any finance, processing the transactions and processing the value from one point to another point, bringing this interoperability or between any world, any asset in the world, and so on. But particularly we focusing kind of on money, on payments right now. But the opportunities and possibilities are they are really kind of broad and really unimaginable. So we started to speak with DCM about that and about what potential is, what could be built with this technology, with artificial intelligence and with blockchain, obviously, and with kind of modern technology, like a basic modern approaches in technology, and how to do that in a way that will not be kind of so harmful, I would say, for companies, for banks, because you can imagine how much money banks poured into their like basic infrastructure. So you just paying on the like a pretty manja or whatever, you're buying your coffee, but under the hood, hell lot of things happen. And the majority of these things run on the for some kind of big, really monsters, for some big banks, the majority of things run on the software that been created in 70s, 80s.
Yeah, well, it's difficult to shift, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah, it's not even difficult to shift. They can't shift.
Yeah.
Because it's so tightly bounded.
Yeah.
That if you touch something, it will kind of go down as a downfall, with all these kind of bounded systems around. And I was thinking about how to kind of shape all that, how to bring something new on top of what the bank got and so on. And DCM kind of had an ideas, and we actually partnered together to bring all these new ideas and all these new things of and the actual product of giving an ability to banks or financial institutions to achieve the instant payment flows, to instant financial messaging between each other, between counterparties, between any parties that you're speaking with. So it's literally as we speaking with you right now together. So why we should build constraints for monies to flow easily as we speak with you. So people should, and organizations should send this money in such a free and instant way, but without any super investments in changing. Like I can't imagine that I will come to the chairman of the bank and say that, hey, mate, you must wipe out all your infrastructure, put the DCM on that, or like put a new thing on that, and he was like, we've spent on that billions, like in one bank. So that's not the way for us. So we creating the technology and innovation that you can kind of put on top what you already have.
This is why I've always been excited about the whole interop movement, because it goes across all areas of finance, doesn't it? From payments to, I speak to a lot of people in capital markets where they're talking about desktop interop and having that sort of instant gratification. And to me, that's exactly where it is, because look, there is in banking and financial services, you have to have a robust background to it, but the ability to customize and tailor it and make it bespoke to the needs of a more modern arena is also becoming more and more apparent within it. And I think when you talk about innovation, we've used some of the sort of the buzzword bingo terms already, like AI and blockchain and such like. There's an awful lot of hype and a lot of noise that there has been over the last 5 to 10 years. Certainly, I think sometimes it's we think it's been around for weeks as opposed to the years it has been around sometimes, don't we? But I think when you look at it and you talk about better use of, which isn't just about speculation when you're talking about blockchain and you're talking about digital assets and you're talking about crypto, but it's how can we create a much easier, quicker, slick, friction-free process that increases efficiency for everyone else in there. And the innovation that's around that sort of space and the techs around that sort of space is super exciting. I guess that's exactly where you guys come in, right?
Yeah, that's super right. That's super true. Obviously, we are not, and I'm not putting like technology just as a bite for investors and for customers. Hey, we have an AI, come to us. And where do you have the AI? Just written in our memo, and that's it. How would you use that? I don't know. We have a chat that will kind of respond on your silly questions and so on and so forth. Why do we have blockchain? I don't know. So that's not the way how I see that and how we do that at DCM, and that comes from my background anyway, and from what I've seen through my career. Dealing with blockchain applications, obviously, and dealing with different projects that have been using blockchain as a point to hype and issue shitcoins to scam people, and using blockchain as a pure new innovative technology that could literally change the way how the finance could work, and how kind of other technologies, other industries can benefit from transparency, benefit from immutability, that you can't change what happens in the blockchain, and how people can benefit from that. And DCM products, they are built with the idea that, hey, we are not using kind of specific technology just because it's hyping and trendy right now. We must deliver the value in that. And speaking about interoperability and true seamless interactions between banks and financial institutions and people, like a little. In the end of the day, behind all this technology and behind all these banks and so on, we have people.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of people interaction.
I'm so pleased you said that.
Yeah. So that's people interactions, and you can't bring new technology. Just say, hey, we made things going more on a higher speed, like instantly. That's not enough right now, and to shape the future and to bring more things to the future, you must bring something even more than just speed of movement. You must bring transparency as well. You must create some kind of secure environment for that. You must bring like more details, more data into that, and you must operate with all this data. And that's where these new technologies we can plug in. With blockchain, we can bring more transparency to what you do. That's really important for international companies that want to be more transparent for what they do and for their customers, for their potential customers, like existing customers, in various directions in the ecology, where you want to be more transparent about what you're spending and what is the carbon footprint what the carbon footprints are.
It's more and more important, that whole ESG piece, isn't it?
For the international companies that are funded with public money and public companies that want to be transparent about what they do and what projects they do, what projects they are financing, and how they are moving all these kind of results, whether it's efficient and whether it's moving kind of smoothly with all these projects and all these fundings, or it just kind of goes to the black hole and never gets back. So the transparency, that's only like a few cases where transparency is important, but my own idea, and I'm really sure about that people overall will only benefit from transparency in finance, from more transparency in finance, which we already see that in stable coins, for example. That's kind of cryptocurrency or crypto assets that baked with real currency that issued by the Circle company or USDC, or issued by the Tether company, USDT, and so on. These are transparent currencies powered by blockchain technology, but baked into the US dollar. In the UK, I know that there is a project to work on the digital pound that will be more transparent, and that will incorporate the blockchain technology to bring this transparency of the public money and of the money overall, of money overall. So that's where the technology should be applied, not for the hyping on the on the name of it. And the same for the AI, but it's not only about AI, it's more about data that we have, and that's also talking about transparency. And someone can say that, hey guys, you're talking about right now spying on people and so on. That's not the case anyway. If you do legit things, if you live through the legit activities, that what's about spying, spying things. You generate
the whole thing there is people love to create a narrative for that sort of thing, don't they? No matter no matter where it is, people have a conspiracy about what the intentions are of in some way, shape or form. Particularly, I guess, when it comes to a sort of centralised currency and such like as well.
Yeah, and that's what's happening literally right now.
Yeah.
A lot of activities through the finance, they are monitored.
Yeah.
That's not about spying. That's about trying to help people to avoid losses because of fraud, or trying to help people to more effectively manage money because of kind of money laundering and so on. So that's always you can pull this narrative out and say, okay, it's all about spying. I want to be anonymous. I want to be completely in the shade of everything. But on the other side, there are a lot of researchers that tell us that if you bring in complete transparency to the market, the people that act in this market, the players in this market, they starting to act more trustworthy to each other, that they have more trust to each other, and therefore this trust multiplies into the economic growth, and this economic growth multiplies to more money in your pocket, and all this transparency is about trust, and the data that you generate, let's say like a person that pays for a coffee in the coffee shop, or that any other like a person creates with payments, day-to-day activity and so on. All this data is all in place in banks and especially payment companies. So why we wouldn't use that to bring more transparency and trust to people and more effectiveness in the money movement?
I've done a few episodes of this where we talked about restoring faith in digital assets, and I think that comes down to trust and communication, and I think if we look back to where we were a year ago to where the sector is today, I think there's been a phenomenal rate of improvement within that sort of trust. When you go back to a year before that, with obviously the eye of the storm with SBF and all that sort of thing, it was a fairly difficult time, but I think it's sort of really exciting moving further forward. There's two things I want to finish on, because this is, as I sort of suggested, this is something there where we can both be talking a long time about this as well. But I want to talk about two things. I want to finish in a minute by talking about DCM, and you mentioned there about the growth, the excitement, what's happening. We'll do a finale around that. But also, you've touched on, and I can see it on your watch there, you've been talking about the Ukraine. And I'm always amazed about Ukraine, and what I'm amazed about is just the depth of talent that's come out of that country.
Yeah, that's right.
And technology talent that's sort of been born from the Ukraine, and for a business, for a country that's been under such duress for the last 2 years or so. To me, it's incredible about how much innovation continues to come through the country despite the conditions and what's been subjected to, and the difficulties that have been had over there. So, what do you think it is about Ukraine that's allowed that to happen?
As a Ukrainian, I would say that it's all about spirit. The whole history of Ukraine is about being free, and that's in our genes. It's our like a mental code to be free and to be the ruler on your like a part of the land, because Ukrainians were like historically they were owners of their part of the land.
Yeah.
And you can even look on the flag of Ukraine. It kind of yellow and blue. Yellow means the grain and the fields filled with grain, and blue it means like obviously sky.
Yeah.
And you are an owner of your land, and you're free. You have your things to do in your land.
Yeah.
And that's all about spirit that goes down the route to the ancient times.
Yeah.
When the land where Ukraine right now was the one of the main points where the civilization been started on the eastern side of the Europe with the establishment of the Kiev Rus state and the establishment of Kiev city, which was far before any other cities being established on that like eastern part of the region. I wouldn't say like far away to the crazy neighbor that Ukraine has right now. So it's all about spirit, and then understanding that if you're free, you can do literally anything. And unfortunately, Ukraine's seen a hell lot of things that are unpleasant through the history, and all because kind of the crazy people living nearby, trying to conquer Ukrainians, but always getting punched in their face with Cossacks, with Ukrainian rebellion before the Second World War and so on and so forth. And right now, we had, after the deconstruction of USSR, we had one more opportunity to build the state, which will be far better than any sick minds from the Moscow could imagine. And we actually started to do that, and the Ukrainian spirit of freedom is being around through the whole history. You can remember the Euromaidan revolution or revolution of dignity, and that's always was about the freedom that we wanted to achieve, freedom from corrupt politics, freedom from the rules that making people not equal, and freedom to do what you want to do. And that's why I was in Ukraine for such a long time, having super cool background, speaking fluently English and several languages. I was staying in Ukraine for majority of my time, just because I knew that in Ukraine you can create anything, and achieving freedom with kind of cross-border.
That's giving you this also entrepreneurial flair to it.
And Ukrainians are entrepreneurs by design. They have entrepreneurial mindset on their land.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you're entrepreneur as kind of solo entrepreneur. You're making kind of everything. You beating you out on any task that you do, and that's why a lot of fintech companies came from Ukraine. A lot of things made by Ukrainian people. A lot of developers, engineers are Ukrainians.
It's interesting how it's a similar sort of thing to what you see in Israel at the same sort of stage. Two of the most innovative tech countries who are used to that sort of thing, where they have to. I don't know if there's comparisons between the two, and the politics of it are probably best to steer clear of. But it's interesting to see that those hubs and what drives the innovation within it and everything in between. But
and the need of kind of showcase yourself, and the need of to build better future for you specifically, given that you have the knowledge that you have, and given your desire that you have, that's what stands out Ukrainians on the history, and that's what stands out Ukrainians right now, because there isn't even there is no more brave army in the world right now than Ukrainians. Fighting against the unequally larger state in money, people, and so on, and causing unbelievable damage to them, and still keeping the front line and getting back them to their to their area, to their land where they came from. So that's all about Ukraine, and I do believe that in any case we will be growing and will be surging with the new, better things around, and Ukraine will mark. And Ukrainians will mark themselves on the history map anyway. It's inevitable for us.
Okay, good. Well, look, you mentioned there about the future and what it can look like. Let's finish with DCM, and you mentioned growth there in what you were talking about for Ukraine. DCM is an exciting sort of phase at the moment. I know you're ambitious. I know you've got lots of things to look at. So, leave us with the sort of fanfare about what we can expect to see. What's exciting about DCM in the next?
So we right now with DCM we are on a bridge. We have the product, it's working and so on, and we are on a bridge of showcasing the product with some real usage across banks and across different areas. And we working with some institutions that actually trying to do, and not trying to, they doing what I've just said. They speeding up their payments, and they making them transparent and reliable, and they making creating the trust around what they do. And soon you will see these big names and these big companies showcased on the DCM website and through the DCM channels, and you'll see that payments and overall landscape of interoperability, payment interoperability, asset interoperability is changing without any compromises.
Very exciting stuff for you. And this sort of change from you from CTO to CEO, and as you said beforehand, sort of honing your sales skills and taking that sort of side of things further forward, must be a great journey for you as well.
Yeah, that's an incredible journey. As I said, that's something that I've been doing anyway, but focusing on tech and being the CEO of the tech company, that's really like a good way and the inevitable way for me to move forward, because I always felt myself as a leader of leader that brings something to life, that constructs the reality around myself, around himself, and that's what I do. That's what I like to do. That's what gives me an energy, and that's what I see, that I can bring something really cool to the world and change it to the better.
Well, I'm excited about that, and changing the world for the better is never a bad place to end as well. Ross, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. For people who want to get in touch, they I presume they can find you on LinkedIn. Get in touch with you through the website.
Find me on LinkedIn. I would like to connect and speak more about opportunities that we can bond together.
Fantastic. Well, listen, it's been great speaking to you. Thanks for coming on, and thank you all for watching. We will see you soon on the next episode of FinTech Focus TV. Thanks a lot.